Hello everybody, this is Mr. Morfetto, and today I want to talk about a tag team fight, a what-if tag team fight with Krillin and Tenshinhan versus Kid Trunks and Goten from Dragon Ball Super. So this is each fighter at their peak power level in Dragon Ball Super. So, first off, let me get this out of the way. Yes, I know that Goten and Trunks are more powerful than Tenshinhan and Krillin. But this fight is a fight of raw gifted power of Goten and Trunks versus Tenshinhan and Krillin, who have strategy and experience on their side. So, let's figure out exactly how powerful Goten and Trunks are. So in the manga and in the anime, before they learn the fusion dance, Goku asks Trunks and Goten to power up to their fullest potential, their fullest power level. And they do. They go Super Saiyan and they try to impress everybody. And yes, they shock everybody on the Kami's lookout, or Dende's lookout. And even Piccolo is shocked here. But I think they're all just shocked because they're more powerful than a 7 and 8-year-old should be. And I agree. I don't get why Goten and Trunks were born with this much power. And the only reason I can find to why they're this strong is because Vegeta and Goku had become Super Saiyans before the conception of these children. So, they power up, they shock everybody on the lookout, and it would make you believe that they are stronger than Piccolo here in the Buu Saga. And I don't believe that to be true, and I can prove it by when Buu absorbs Piccolo and Gotenks, he takes the form of Gotenks' clothes, and then when Gotenks defuses, he gets Piccolo's clothes, because Buu takes the form of the strongest character he absorbs. So that's there shows you that Piccolo is more powerful than Goten and Trunks are individually. So they are not stronger than Piccolo was during the Buu Saga. And I also don't think they're stronger than Piccolo was during the Cell Saga. I would state that Goten and Trunks at their peak here in Dragon Ball Super would be as strong as a Cell Jr. That is, as weak as probably a imperfect Cell. I think at the best they're as strong as a Cell Jr., which has been proven that Tenshinhan and Krillin can hold their own with a Cell Jr. for a short period of time. So yes, Goten and Trunks are stronger than Krillin and Tenshinhan, even though I do feel that Tenshinhan should be stronger than he is shown to be in the anime and the manga with all his training. Tenshinhan has not quit training since the day he debuted in Dragon Ball on and off screen. He is the definition of hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I'll tell you this, Goten and Trunks do not work hard. They've been gifted this power since birth. Goten has trained with his mother, Chi-Chi, and he has done a little bit of training with Gohan before the tournament. But I can't imagine it was any intense training. Most of it was with Videl, just teaching her how to fly, and Gohan purposely kept them at a low level just to keep Videl from knowing just how powerful they really were. So he didn't get any real intense training with Gohan before this tournament. And Trunks trained with Vegeta for a period of time in his youth in the gravity chamber. And he was able to keep up if he went Super Saiyan. And he was able to land one shot on Vegeta, who wasn't technically going full. He didn't expect Trunks to be as strong as he was. I think even Vegeta was shocked by how much raw, naturally gifted power Trunks had. It didn't seem like Vegeta and Trunks had been training together a lot, or at least Vegeta hasn't been paying attention to Trunks while he trained with him. So a lot of Trunks and Goten's training comes from them basically playing together. So they don't have any martial arts skills in their arsenal, really. And all their strategy in their fight with Buu really came from Piccolo, who is a gifted strategic mind. And one of the reasons Buu absorbed Piccolo, because he knew that Goten and Trunks had no strategy. And Buu himself is really a mindless child of a man when he fights Gotenks before he absorbs them. Yes, so Gotenks only was able to keep up with Buu when he went Super Saiyan 3 and fight him for a bit because Gotenks doesn't have, or Majin Buu has no strategies because he never trained. He was never taught martial arts. So that kind of takes away from both fighters here. I would state that Goten and Trunks are about as strong as a Cell Jr., while as Tenshinhan and Krillin, you could say at this point in Dragon Ball Super, are about as strong as Frieza in his second form. So about a 1 million power level. And that is stretching what they've given us in the manga, in the anime. But you have to think at this point, as far as they've come, you have to think. Even, I mean, Tenshinhan got to train with King Kai. You could make the argument that Tenshinhan knows the Kaioken, or could use the Kaioken. Also, Krillin and Tenshinhan have much more unique moves in their arsenal. Tenshinhan can create up to 3 to 5 clones of himself to use as distractions with Goten and Trunks. And I know you guys might think once Goten and Trunks fuse, it's all over. But you got to think about this. Tenshinhan and Krillin aren't going to let them fuse. They aren't Goku. Goku wants to see his opponent at his fullest potential. But Tenshinhan and Krillin, no. They are at a disadvantage. So if this fight is a throw your opponent out of the ring fight, Tenshinhan and Krillin win hands down through strategy alone. But I'm saying this fight is to the death. And Krillin is a survivor. Krillin survives fights with opponents who are 10, 100 times stronger than he is. And it's proven time and time again. And an example is his fight with Nappa, where he survives that entire fight. And the only reason Tenshinhan died in that fight was because he was willing to sacrifice himself by putting everything he had into a one-handed Kikoho to try and do some damage to their opponent or kill them if possible. And I believe if Tenshinhan here is fighting to the death, he'd be willing to put everything he's got into one Kikoho to take out Goten and Trunks. And I believe if he put everything into one Kikoho, he could kill Goten or Trunks. And I believe if Krillin was able to land a proper Kienzan or Destructo Disc, he could cut Goten or Trunks in half, whether they're Super Saiyan or not. He has proven that he can cut opponents he can cause damage to opponents who are much more powerful than he is when he cut Frieza's tail off. Krillin, like I said, is a survivor. He can survive long periods of time, and so can Tenshinhan. Tenshinhan and Krillin both know the solar flare, which Tenshinhan debuted in the anime and the manga, which can blind your opponent. So let's say Goten and Trunks found a way to get 10 to 15 uninterrupted seconds to fuse. And yes, I will say that Goten and Trunks are the most experienced with the fusion dance, or the fusion dance technique, because they use it most often. It's really their only card they have to play. And I feel like if they waste the entire tag team fight trying to fuse... Another example here, or another reason I believe Tenshinhan and Krillin have the advantage in this tag team fight, is they can probably fight together without saying a word, while as Goten and Trunks would have to yell out what they should do next to each other, giving away what they're going to have to do. While as Krillin and Tenshinhan have been trained together and have both trained under Master Roshi, so they know each other's movements. They've seen each other fight time and time again. They have the advantage as a team, while Goten and Trunks only have a teamwork as a fusion. So like I said, if Goten and Trunks find a way to get away from Tenshinhan and Krillin for 10 to 15 uninterrupted seconds so they can perform a perfect fusion dance and become Gotenks and go Super Saiyan 3, knowing Gotenks, he would go straight to Super Saiyan 3 like he did with Beerus and charge head first at Krillin or Tenshinhan or both. And Tenshinhan or Krillin would probably hit them with a solar flare, blinding them, causing them to waste 10 to 15 minutes of their, even 5 minutes of their fusion time. And I'm almost positive that when Gotenks is at Super Saiyan 3, it drains the fusion even faster. I could be wrong. But let's say Goten and Trunks have a 30-minute fusion time as Gotenks. I believe that Krillin and Tenshinhan can survive a 30-minute fight with Gotenks until the fusion runs out. And during that time, one of them distracting them, probably Tenshinhan with his clones and Krillin with his hundreds times solar flare. And if necessary, Tenshinhan could do a Shin Kikoho, launching multiple barrages of Kikohos, just holding Gotenks in place, wasting his fusion time and giving Krillin time to charge up a super Destructo Disc or Kienzan. And once the fusion elapses and they separate, he can launch it and cut these kids right in half. And if that doesn't work, Krillin can distract them while Tenshinhan charges a super Kikoho, which would destroy at least one of these kids. At least knock them out for the win. I believe that Krillin and Tenshinhan would win this fight 9 times out of 10, while I think the only way that Goten and Trunks could win is if they fused, and that would be that's their go-to move, so that's probably what they would try and do, so they probably wouldn't even try and fight individually. If they got their fusion in, and they were somehow able to land one of their ghost attacks, which I hate the Super Ghost move. It makes no sense how they're able to create these ghost beings with their ki that have personalities. It makes sense for Boo to do it, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for Gotenks to do that move. Gotenks has been shown to have zero strategy, and he either charges head first into a fight, or he poses like the Ginyu Force and announces his moves as loud as he can. He likes to put on a show, like the Great Saiyaman. They're just children. They haven't been trained properly. They really need some character development. But I really cannot see Goten and Trunks walking away with the win here. Whether it's to the death or a ring out or knockout, I believe Krillin and Tenshinhan win this fight 9 times out of 10, hands down. Gotenks would have to hit a lucky pot shot to win this fight. Krillin and Tenshinhan are just much more skilled and much more disciplined, and they would win. Please, comment, like, share, let me know what you think of my thoughts of this tag team fight. The 2 strongest humans of planet Earth, not including Oob, versus these 2 overpowered children that don't deserve the power they've been given, who need some character development. Let me know who you think would win this fight.